Hello all, welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm your host, Tmzoids, also known as Tony, and today we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban, aka the TikTok bill. And you're like, wait, this isn't TikTok. Why are you talking about it here on YouTube? I think it's interesting. I think it's something that needs to be talked about beyond TikTok. I think this is an important topic just overall when it comes to American politics and just how apps are ran. And I'm not going to go into detail about how the apps ran or your data, but that is the main pushing point of how the United States is trying to push this ban or bill, I should say. And this is not the first TikTok bill that's ever been introduced to the United States government. And that does not mean that the TikTok will be banned in other countries. This is just more focused on the United States of America. So just keep that in mind moving forward here. And there's also one thing I haven't seen on videos watching this on TikTok or other videos about this TikTok ban. There's this one thing I haven't seen, which I don't think anybody's brought up, or at least I haven't seen brought up. I could be wrong, so bear in mind. This is just my 2 cents and just my thoughts about it. And let me start with, I'm frustrated. That's right, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because I'm frustrated with my United States government. I'm frustrated with Congress. I'm frustrated with everything that's going on right now. Why am I frustrated? Is because we focus on banning this app or focus on this app as being a major security problem or major issue for the United States people when there's more, I think, more dire issues that need to be addressed and talked about. One of those issues is the budget. And I'm not going to go into every issue and every detail about every single thing, but I think this is the most major one. The budget's important because if the budget doesn't get passed here, the federal budget doesn't get passed here in the United States, which can be agreed on, and not keep getting extended. Yes, we've had extensions on the budget, but we haven't agreed on a certain budget this year. Or I should say last year, to be honest, going into this year. But we haven't agreed on a budget as of right now. And if the budget doesn't get agreed on, yes, Congress shuts down and your congressmen and women go home and they're kind of deadlocked and nothing moves in the United States government. But it's much deeper than that. It's deeper than that because there's people behind the scenes that you don't see that are at home waiting for their job to come back. They're watching the news to see if tomorrow they can go back to work. Now, like I said, the government hasn't shut down yet, but this has happened in the past. If anybody remembers when Obama was the president, there was a deadlock and couldn't be agreed on certain things in Congress. And let's be honest, that was a scary time. People aren't getting paid. They're not getting their money. And they have bills. Things are more expensive than ever here in the United States. And it's crazy to think that we are gambling and are playing with literally weeks and or days before we go, hey, we'll extend it. Hey, we can agree on this for right now, but nothing's set in stone. But here we are with a TikTok ban. No matter what side you lean on, if you're Democratic, Republican, conservative, liberal, whatever you identify with your political stance, it's frustrating that everybody can come together for this. This bill was introduced into the House at a streamlined rate. And what I mean by streamlined is it took 2/3 of the votes to pass on to the Senate. And it passed with flying colors. I can't believe this, that we, like I said, this is the most dire thing that everybody can agree on. If you are Democratic, if you're Republican, whatever the case may be, everybody came collectively together with a whopping vote above 2/3 of the vote to pass this on to the next House or next Senate, I should say, to the Senate. The Senate, of course, was the only logical and only hope that we really have, because if you don't know, President Biden really made it vocal and said, hey, he supports the bill, he would sign the bill if it ever came onto his desk. Now, of course, people say that, and then the bill might sit there and rot there until hell freezes over. You never know. But we'll just take his word for it and say, hey, he said he's going to sign into law if it gets to his desk. So we're pretty much banking on the Senate being the only logical people that say, hey, we shouldn't pass this. This is ridiculous. This is American freedom, not freedom, just freedom of speech, but also freedom of reach, which we'll talk about here in a second, which has been talked about. Well, that is a hope because the Senate is going through its normal processes of, talking about the bill and giving people time to read the bill and, speak up on the House, which I think you've already seen videos about this in the Senate about the bill and what it does and what it doesn't do. Some things that are concerning and really frustrating with me, just not because of the budget stuff or the other major issues that haven't been passed, But some of the concerning comments that have been coming from Congress, which blows my mind. One of those things, talking about reach. Now, a congressman went on national news, ironically, talking about national reach. Now, he said that the American people have a freedom of speech, but they don't have a freedom of reach, which I am blown away that he had the gall to say that. Now, you could look up this video, or I could find this video and I'll post it down below. I'll do my best when I talk about these things. I'm not going to play anything on my YouTube. I don't want to take it down. I'm just going to summarize it. Like I said, he was on national news talking about reach. And this is the first thing that I think scares the American government about this app, is that 1 million Americans use this app, and it's a big political influencing tool. What do I mean by that is somebody in New York can make a video, and somebody all the way in California will see what's going on in New York. If New York's up in flames, somebody could make a TikTok and be like, New York's in flames. And then somebody in California will be like, whoa, look at this, New York's in flames. And then he shares it, or he links it to other people, and it's just like a wildfire. And that's one of the beautiful things about TikTok. There's no limit and or censorship when it comes to this app. And that's the beauty of it. You guys can talk about things, learn about things, new recipes, cooking secrets. Businesses have grown off this. The TikTok shop, it's grown, and that's why people use it. It's just not, a lot of people are just saying, oh, that's just a brain-rotting app, and their dances, and they're stealing all our information. Wait a minute, information? Stolen? Didn't Facebook just have a lawsuit that they had to pay out not too long ago for selling our information? Wait, doesn't Facebook is owned by Meta? Meta owns Instagram too? Oh, and how about the political representation that has happened on Facebook, or even on Twitter at one point, which has been released by Elon Musk? I don't know if you agree or disagree or whatever those things are, but that's not my main topic is here. It's frustrating that they go for that. Every time the American people say, hey, this is your safety, this is your information, we want you to be, safer. We want safeguards around this. We need to, you need to, understand that we're here to protect you. We don't want the American people out in the open. We don't want our information leaked. But then turn around, we give up a little bit of we give up a lot of freedom for a little bit of safety. And we've seen this before in practice, once in the American history. I think everybody can go back to 9/11 and see how that's changed things drastically when it comes to airports and TSA and all that jazz and all that drama. And it's frustrating. They talk about the reach thing, right? American politician is mad that I can make a video on YouTube. I won't be reaching as many people as I could reach on TikTok. And somebody on YouTube from New York doesn't mean they'll see it. But on TikTok, somebody in New York will see it. Somebody from California will see it for sure. If it's in your timeline, your feed, it's blowing up, it's popular, they'll see it. That's the scary thing. And then the other thing is that politicians are using this app as it is. Jeff Jackson, North Carolina senator at the time, made a success off his short form content. He is, if you don't know who he is, he's a politician in North Carolina. He's got over 3 million followers on TikTok. His short form content for the political government or political topics that he's talked about are amazing. It just worked well. He's just like, hey, I'm, the North Carolina senator, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on in Congress. And people were like relating to him. He's like, whoa, this guy's human. This guy knows what's going on. He's being open about it. He's like, look at these people that are in government. Some of them act for the TV. And you're like, holy shit. He's exposing things. Now, did he give any great leaks or details about the American, what's going on intelligence wise? No, not by any means. He's not there today America talked about the nuke plans and here and, how this is going on. No, he doesn't talk about any of that stuff. But he, the base level stuff that he was talking about, people could relate to. People followed him, enjoyed his, like I said, his short form content because it was straight to the point. He said he'll keep you updated, and boom, he did. He made another TikTok. He's like, hey, what's going on? Then he talked about gerrymandering, about how they were messing with the lines in a state and how he would no longer be a senator. and they're going to try and vote him out because they didn't like how he operated. But then he said he's running for attorney general. And what did people do? People voted for him because they liked him. They liked his persona. They knew about him because of TikTok. And then he turns around and is one of the American people that, or American congressmen that voted to ban TikTok, voted for this bill. And he's getting roasted for it. He's getting dragged left and right from it. He deleted his original video. So if you do look up his original video, it is gone. He did revamp it a little bit, made it a little bit better. Is it still up to standards? No, people are still dragging him through the mud. He's still getting just completely roasted left and right. But another thing is Biden, the president himself, is using TikTok for his campaign. He has a TikTok, an official TikTok, to use in his campaign. And it blows my mind that Biden said he supports the bill. And this is what's the frustrating thing, is that people are using these platforms to politically gain or get favor with people, then turn around and ban the same app or control the same app that they have favor in, which is frustrating. But I think the most concerning thing, besides, like I said, the political reach thing, which the one congressman, I can't remember his name, was a male, that's what I know, was on national news, talked about this. But another thing is another congressman stated that he was upset that TikTok gave people a pop-up about the bill, the ban, and that if you type in your area code, you can find what congressman is to contact and tell them you're not in support of this bill. He was frustrated with that. And that's what blows my mind. And Jeff Jackson actually talks about this too on his TikTok, is that he's like, well, TikTok sent out a notice saying that they don't support the bill and put in your zip code and you can tell your congressman that you don't support it, but then go over what the bill really is about. And it's like, why are you frustrated that I can type in my zip code, right, and find what congressman? It should be streamlined like that. As a voter, as an American citizen, it should be streamlined. I should just be able to type in my zip code and be like, hey, this is my congressman or woman. I don't like this. And people, it's not that people, maybe there are people that don't read the bill or don't really fully understand the bill, which is understandable. But over most consensus, and if you do your research and your due diligence, you should have a genuine idea of if you support the bill or you don't support the bill. And you can contact your congressman going either way. It doesn't always have to be negative. But the fact that, like I said, congressmen are afraid of reach. The congressmen are afraid that you can type in a zip code and go into who to contact, and they're afraid of this. Why is it that we need to jump through hoops? Why does it that the American people need to, or American government need control, or American adversary needs control of this app? Why are people that afraid of that? People talk about, oh, your data's being sold. Your data's been sold from Facebook. Your data's been sold from Instagram, Google. I mean, that's why you got targeted ads. You talk about something, all of a sudden your phone's showing you, you're talking about dog food, and, you're scrolling through, and all of a sudden dog food pops up. It blows my mind. That's okay, though, right? Your phone could be listening to you and be like, yeah, I really like puppy chow, it's not dog food, by the way. I'm talking about this sweet puppy chow with the Chex Mix and the peanut butter. And all of a sudden, there's recipes about puppy chow, or you can buy puppy chow at fucking your local store, but that's okay. But hey, the Chinese government has a 10% stake in an app, and they lose their mind. Because the owner of the app, the creator of the app, is from Singapore. It has nothing to do with China. Two different entities, but I guess, for this, safety and security. It is frustrating. I must say, once again, it blows my mind that we are here talking about these things, that this is the most important thing. But one last thing that I want to talk about, and I don't think it's been mentioned or talked about at all from anybody from what I've seen so far, is the fact that, let's say this happens. Let's say a TikTok ban is imminent. Everything gets passed. It gets through the Senate. The president signs it into law. And keep in mind, this is American. A million Americans would lose this app. And not only that, small businesses, people that built their businesses on TikTok, the TikTok shop would be gone. You can't buy anything anymore from TikTok shop, which is a lot of small businesses have been doing. Gone, right? Possible gone. But say they sold it. Let's just say ByteDance sells over their shares or whatever, shares over the app. What about the people not here in America? What about the people in Ukraine? Maybe people don't support the American, government getting involved with Ukraine politics. But now you're in Ukraine, scrolling through your TikTok, and now the US has control. What stops the US from putting something on their timeline, on their algorithm? Sorry, I cannot talk. And stops them from political propaganda. How about in the UK? Somebody in the UK is like, hey, this is not good. Stop, tell your local government. Somewhere in Australia, somewhere in Africa, somewhere in wherever, in China, in Singapore, wherever somebody uses the app, what stops the American people from doing exactly what they don't want the Chinese government to do? Why is that okay? Why did they get to decide what they see? And then they're like, oh, no, it's just the American people, We wouldn't do that for everywhere else. Why? Why is that? It's frustrating. And I'll leave you with this. TikTok isn't, and people are like, well, TikTok isn't that crazy. Like, you make it sound like TikTok has that much power and reach. A while back, and I'm sure still stuff's going on, but a while back, there's stuff going on in France, in Paris. And you would see these videos and random things on Twitter. And you'd be like, what the hell's going on, right? Say Twitter because this is important. These videos of Paris and France, if you type that into Instagram, and somebody did this on TikTok, they said, if you type this into Instagram, what do you see? You see the Eiffel Tower, beautiful scenery, the videos are beautiful, the food's wonderful, just the great outdoors, just wonderful, peaceful place and love and support and, the vacationing spot. But then you went to TikTok and did that, typed in Paris or France, you would see they're rioting. They're not getting along with their government. Things are on fire. Things are anarchy. They're protesting things that you'd never know about if you didn't have TikTok. On Instagram, you don't see any of that. And it kind of works with the same way with Google, right? Sometimes you really got to type in some specific stuff with Google to find what you're looking for. If it be on YouTube, if it be on Google, if it be on Twitter. And Twitter, you're just lucky, right? You're just scrolling through in your timeline now, and on Twitter, it's just fucking unhinged shit, right? You're just scrolling, you're just like, this guy died. And you're like, huh? You just keep scrolling, and you're like, these two people were beat up by a police officer. Yeah, 10 years ago. But it's crazy. It's crazy to think that the American people, the American congressmen and women, think that you should not have access to quick access, right? You can't type in your zip code and find quick access to your congressman and woman. That was scary for them, concerning for them, because the app, said, hey, this ban, this bill's in Congress. Contact your people, put in your zip code. They thought that was concerning. Then they think it's concerning that here I am in Illinois. I can reach you all the way from California. I can reach you all the way to New York without suppression, without censorship. With YouTube, you can be suppressed by anything. Me swearing in this video could get this video suppressed. This video is not suitable for kids usually, so the kids won't see it, or certain timelines won't see it with that. Whatever the case may be. Oh, I only have 100 subscribers. It's just going to get buried, right? Whatever the case may be. Like I said, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating that this is the main concern. That's passed the House with flying colors. 2/3 of the vote. Keep that in mind when you're voting this time around. 2/3 of your congressmen or women thought this was more of a dire situation than a budget. Anything else going on here in America or even in foreign aid. It doesn't have to be here in America. If you really believe that's, the Ukrainians need help or foreign aid and they're not passing that bill right away, things can't be streamlined for that, but they can be streamlined for NAP. Think about it. I know politics are a tricky topic, and I do appreciate it if you listen all the way through. If you did, give it 5 likes. If we get 5 likes, I'm going to make another video. Not about politics, but I will make sure another video is posted, probably a Chalk Talk, if I can get some 5 likes. I know that's a lot to ask. We got 5 likes on our last video. I'm going for 5 likes again. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, guys. Bye now.